Welcome to XCommerce. In this video, I will demonstrate how to publish messages to the Fabric and receive messages from the Fabric. Before we continue, make sure to have all the prereqs installed. These are the steps that I will cover in this video, so let's get started. First, log into XCommerce Developer Portal at devportal.x.com using your PayPal account. Click the Fabric Sandbox or Manage Sandbox link. Review the overview, concepts, and high-level workflow described in the About the Sandbox page. Let's go ahead and register two capabilities, one for the publisher and one for the listener. Let's first start with the listener. I will call it Hello World Listener. The endpoint URL is the URL at which your capability can be accessed. I'll update the endpoint with the address that my listener will be set up on. Let's leave the overview and summary empty for now. Click Register Capability. Click the Subscribe to Topics. Click Subscribe to Topics. Create an experimental topic, Hello World Listener. Click Add Experimental Topic and subscribe to it. Once subscribed, it will show a list of topic names. Now let's create Test Merchant by clicking Manage Test Merchants. Select Capability Hello World Listener. Let's call it Hello World Merchant. Add the merchant to your Hello World Listener capability by checking Hello World Merchant. We are now done with registering our listener. Now your capability you created can be seen under Manage Capabilities. Make a note of the Fabric, tenant, and capability credentials required for your capabilities to authenticate with the Fabric. I'll use these in my capability code. Now let's create a publisher called Hello World Publisher. The endpoint URL is empty since the capability just publishes and does not listen. This also does not subscribe to any topic since it is just a publisher and does not listen. I'll reuse the same merchant for the publisher. Make a note of the tenant credentials. Let's go to the next step and create a custom contract. I'll use a text editor like Notepad to create a very simple contract for my Hello World message and save it as an AVDL file. This file defines the record and its contents, the topic that the messages will be published to, and the version of the contract. You can find more information about Avro on the Apache site. Let's go forward to the next step and write our capabilities. Let's first create the listener. Open your Eclipse workspace and click on the XCommerce plugin and select New Capability, or click File, New, Other, XCommerce Capability Project. Give a name to the capability. Let's call it Hello World Listener. Give a package structure, say com.listener. The XCom plugin provides sample contracts for you to begin with. For now, we will just use the file we just created. Select the AVDL file we just created, click Finish. The plugin project creates a servlet and concrete classes based on the contract. It also creates properties files which contains all the tokens and port on which capability is listening. Let's go ahead and update the properties file. Update the Fabric, tenant, and the capability credentials for the Hello World Listener capability in the capability.properties file. The servlet called the XFabric servlet has some code already written to get you started. Let's look at the XFabric servlet. It has post method, which contains code to read from the tokens from the capability.properties file, and method definitions for various topics. Let's edit the method for the topic, Hello World Listener, since this is invoked when a message is received from the Fabric. The code just deserializes the message that comes in using the XFabric util and prints it to the console. Now let's create the publisher capability. Create a new Java project. Let's call it Hello World Publisher. Let's create a package. We will call it com.publisher. And we will create a class and call it Publisher. I'll write code in the main method to set the endpoint for the sandbox, necessary headers such as the tenant token and version, and create the message. I'll replace the default value for the token with my tenant token from the dev portal. This code uses the Xfabric util provided by the plugin to serialize the message. You can add it to the build path from your Hello World Listener capability. Run the listener as a local capability. Now run the publisher. Publisher sends the Hello World message to the Fabric. Fabric sends a 200 OK back to the publisher, which I see in the publisher console. The Fabric sends the message to the listener and gets displayed in the listener console. Woohoo!